on my Twitch channel.
On your Twitch channel,
Yeah, I have it all hooked up.
are you allowed to like multicast like this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as of like 2 weeks ago. No, I can do that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Multicasting is back. It never left, but it's back now.
Denicia.
Delicia.
Yeah.
Nah, man. What are these what what are these Purdue fans doing? Tweeting, laughing at me for saying "Where's IU?" Well, they should be laughing at you putting Purdue in a Final Four picture.
He didn't mean that, guys.
No, I meant that. I meant every bit of that. I meant every bit of that. All right, so we're back. Podcast episode. Let's go. Big Ten Coast to Coast basketball starts tomorrow. The season is underway for almost every single Big Ten team except for the Pick-Me's that start on Tuesday. You see what I did there? But it's back. So it starts at 4:30, by the way. We'll be in Discord. So if you guys want to come watch with us, we'll be in Discord tomorrow at 4:30 watching. I think Georgia plays. Oh God, I forget who they play. Georgia, somebody else plays at 4:30. It's the first Power Five on our first big conference on conference game.
Bro, did you see there's like 11 Big Ten games between like 6:30 and 9 o'clock?
Yes, they're all on, including the Michigan State game tomorrow.
Michigan State plays and Purdue plays on BTN. Everybody else Big Ten Plus, right?
Yeah. Everybody getting that Big Ten Plus treatment. That's why IU waited to play until Tuesday.
They couldn't play earlier games?
It doesn't make any sense, right? It's not like it's like finals season. It's not even like it's midterms. It's November, so it's not like the kids.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not like the kids have tests or whatnot. They have to schedule. Like they could totally work in like a 5 o'clock tip somewhere.
Talk to him.
Some 5 o'clock
Absolutely.
tip somewhere.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
So how do you want to start this?
I don't know because we're never like organized. Like,
What is organization?
I don't know what that
I don't
is.
know her.
I tweeted like every like 3 months, like I need to be better organized. Man, let's I don't know. We were talking off. We were talking off camera about your boys about Indiana, bro.
Yeah,
Talking off camera about Indiana. I
I
don't mind talk.
let's talk Indiana. So Indiana didn't do any of those secret scrimmages. They played 2 exhibition games to start the year. They played U Indy and Marion. They were down at the half to U Indy and came back and crushed them in the second half. And then
Right?
was in a bit of a tussle with Marion for the first 10 minutes and then slowly pulled away and then took care of business in that one. I saw a lot of good things and a lot of really, really alarming things in the exhibition games,
Yeah.
as you do. I'll start off with the good things. Clell Ware looks as talented as advertised. He hit a move in the Marion game where he basically faced up just outside the three-point line, saw that he had a lane, then put the ball on the floor, did a spin move, jump stop, and then kind of faded away and hit a jumper from probably like 5 feet from the basket, and it was pretty. And he does pretty things sometimes, and then he misses point blank layups. That drives me insane. Or he's a little bit lazy on a screen and ends
know,
ends up missing a rotation.
you know who I, you know who I don't really, who I don't mind on your team,
Who?
which is weird. I thought that they didn't really have a place on the rosters. Anthony Walker's been really, really solid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's been very, very solid. I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. There's a lot of bodies down there at the 4 and the 5. I don't know what place he's got on the team, but we saw that with Sparks out, he was able to play pretty decently. Even when Sparks was there, like so I feel that he has some type of role on the
Mm-hmm.
team. He gives you like a legit four, like not someone who's like more defensive minded for, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to give much for you offensively, but he's someone who can anchor a defense. Sure, he gives me like Caleb Banks vibes at the four
Mm-hmm.
a bit.
Yeah.
And but you can't play too many of those guys because you need because if those guys are playing, some guys aren't. And
That's
those guys
right.
who aren't playing need to play a lot more. You know, in
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah. You said like before the season started, and even before they played any games, that you thought Mbako's best position was the 4. Malik
It
Renew
is.
is a 4. You have Anthony Walker, who plays the 4, and some would argue that Sparks is also a 4. So you have 4 guys on the roster all vying for playing time, all for one position, which
I think
is
Sparks is 5 though.
no Sparks definitely is a 5, but to the uneducated, they would see 6'8" and be like, ah, he's a 4, and he's not. He's not. He's not. He's thick. He's a thick boy. He's a 5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You put out Anthony Walker. We've been pleasantly surprised with Gabe Cups. I think it's been a pleasant surprise so far. Though
He's been really steady.
he's been
I'm not gonna say he's been like a surprise, but he's been extremely steady. But like I said, like I do have concerns. I hate Mbako and their defensive scheme. That needs to be tightened up quick in a hurry, or you're gonna have even like a mid-level, low Division One team can expose that. I feel he's like a half a second late on every single switch, every single concept, every single scheme, and other guys have had to cover for him. And sometimes it'll be a true freshman along with them having to cover for him,
mhm.
or if he gets into a situation where it's like renewing him, it's just really really ugly. And I know it's exhibition. I know there's it takes time, but right now, especially defensively, I am missing. I'm missing that cohesiveness. I'll say that. I'll also say from an offensive standpoint, they haven't found themselves. I think they're trying to establish, and I think Malik Renew has kind of put himself forward as being a legit first option, not even second. I think a legit first option
Mhm.
on this team. Someone who has shown that he could step out and hit a three. Someone who could post up as well. He has a shot to be an All Big Ten guy. I
Mhm.
think. But it's all about can can everyone buy into that, right?
Mhm.
And are those other guys okay with him being top dog? Because that's another thing, right? One thing that what your team needs and wants. It's another thing. Will those guys accept it, or are they going to try to fight it? Like, no, I'm up here too. When you start tussling for spots on the totem pole, um, it can get a little bit crowded up top.
Yeah, Woodson's got to work through that. Because he's got a bunch of guys on the roster who I'm sure he's promised a large role to. You got Ware comes in as the number 1 transfer, or top 5 depending on where you look. I'm sure he was promised some stuff. Renew comes back. I'm sure was promised some stuff, and then Mbako's a top 10 recruit. They went and got him after he decommitted from Duke. I'm sure he was promised some things over committing to Kansas. And Woodson's got to work all of those things out, right? And work their roles out in this team, especially on offense. Yeah, Renew hit a couple threes in the last exhibition. That was fun to see. The 5-out offense has been fun. Hasn't exactly worked consistently yet, but it's been fun to watch from a fan's perspective, especially since Indiana fans haven't really seen this dynamic of an offense since Tom Crean left, right? Archie played Archie ball, which was terrible to watch, and then you've had, Woodson's been working with Trace Jackson Davis, so of course it's been very heavy through the post. And now you got Chloe Ware facing up from 3-point range. You've got pick and pop with Malik Renew and Ware. Like, it's fun. This is fun to watch, but there's a lot of problems and there's a lot of questions, and there's some behind the scenes stuff that's not so great either. So I could see this Indiana team being a top 5 team in the conference, and I could very well see this team being a bottom 3 team in the conference. It could go either way.
I can't even see them top 5.
I think they have the talent.
They do have the talent, but how many decently talented teams get eaten up in the league because they're not cohesive enough?
That's fair.
We've seen some very untalented teams be able to do well in the league, all because they work so well together and they're accepting of their roles, right? You have guys playing 28 minutes who are okay with shooting the ball 3 times.
Right.
You have guys who are out there without agendas. And I think when you have, a situation, especially with Indiana, I think we talked about this before, that I have 4 tiers of where I feel each team is. And I feel that they're on the 3rd tier right now, which is a bit harsh, I think. But at the same time, I can only take from what I'm seeing and what they need to fix and how quickly they need to fix those things. Who is the subjects that need to make changes and adjustments? How quickly can they make those adjustments? Who are they going to play coming up here? If they get exposed early, I think that will be one of the better things that happens to them. You don't want them to play 5-6 games in, win a decent game, but still have those bad habits,
right?
Because then you're going to reinforce those bad habits, right? And now you don't understand that that's a bad habit until it's too late. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be best if they get humbled earlier, especially when it comes to lineups and rotations and getting guys to play a certain way. Right?
Yeah. I don't disagree with that take. I think Woodson will figure out the talent, so I think they have the chance to be a top 5 team in the league. Speaking of teams of potential to be a top 5 team in the league, Michigan went out and shocked the world. No, shocked most of the college basketball world, and put up 113 on Marquette, and it's
115, 111.
115 on Marquette in a secret scrimmage. And honestly, talk about teams trending upward. Michigan's hype has been slowly rising since that came out. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think this Michigan team can play with the best in the league? They're going to have to get out and run. They're going to probably be a little bit suspect on defense. But they're going to shoot the heck out of the ball. What are you seeing from this Michigan team?
I'm seeing a team that's playing extremely fast, a team that is playing very free. We saw in their exhibition against Northwood. Now, granted that Northwood's not very good. Northwood's probably going to finish towards at the bottom of the GLIAC. I think they won 2 or 3 games last year. We talked about this. Purdue played Grace in AIA. Grace would beat Northwood in a legit game by about 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't really take much, except you can take how guys looked, how the rotation was, the confidence, chemistry, the playing style, right? And I think all those things are going to bode very well when it comes to actual when it comes to actual games.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when a team wants to slow them down, when a team wants to prevent the fast break, prevent the transition stuff. Can Michigan operate in the half court? That's what I'm going to kind of look at next. The team is built very differently, very differently. Outside of Terrace Reed, everybody has the green light to shoot. And even then, Terrace Reed in his senior year in high school, he was hitting threes in transition. So we'll see if he ends up doing that. But like Kamwa, Trey Jackson, even like T. Will with his new form on his jump shot, Cheddar, Doug, GW3, all these guys are capable of hitting shots. They're all capable of putting the ball on the floor. They can go 5 out anytime they want to. Anyone can get the rebound and go. That's really dangerous when it comes to matching up in full court transition and primary and secondary breaks. So you don't want to take too much from it when it comes down to the Northwood game, but seeing now, albeit the scrimmage with Marquette, it was 4 quarters, 12 minutes. So it was like an NBA type of setup more than anything else. But Michigan hit a lot of threes and they shot a lot of free throws. That tells me 2 things. That tells me that they were aggressive off the bounce getting to the basket. And when there was too much clogging going on, they hit the right people for the right shot. And if you're creating rim pressure and knocking down your threes, I don't care who you are. That's a hard team to play against. And they're very, like their overall build, like they're mature across the line. They play 1 true freshman. Outside of that, everybody has college experience. I'll have to do some math, but I think they're older than the Pistons starting lineup, which is interesting. Old team, a team that really is focusing on winning, and should be interesting. Like them being picked 11th is fair. If you focus on them losing a couple of first round draft guys, and losing an All-American type of guy and like Hunter. But I think what they've lost, one with Hunter, they lost the focal point. Now it's going to be more spread out,
right.
But they let go of some youth too, right? Maybe not as talented, but just 2, 3, 4 years older now and able to not have as many like mental errors. You know what I mean? Being able to close out games because you're not worried about things that you wouldn't even think about if you were 18 or 19, but now you're 22, 23 years old. You've grown out of so many bad habits, and that's going to allow them to close out so many more games. That's going to result in wins. So it's tough.
I like this Michigan team a lot from what I've seen. They look fun, and I appreciate that. Like, I want to watch fun basketball. If I'm watching Big Ten, I want to watch fun. Look, all due respect to Wisconsin and Purdue. It sucks to watch as a neutral sometimes when they like to muck it up. All right? It just sucks to watch as a neutral. I want fun.
Purdue runs good stuff.
Purdue will run good stuff, but when it becomes throw it down into Zach Edey time, it's not fun. All due respect to Zach Edey and Purdue, they're a great basketball team and they play awesome basketball. It's just not fun to watch as a neutral, or semi-neutral in my perspective. But this is more shot taken at Wisconsin. Michigan brings a flavor of basketball to the Big Ten that's good. Like I like teams that go against what is prototypical Big Ten basketball, because we've seen prototypical Big Ten basketball lose to 16 seeds. All right, straight up lose 16 seeds, be disappointments in the tournament, not make the Final Four. Lose in the second round to an 8 seed that plays better basketball and has a perimeter pro. We've seen this all throughout the last 20-something years. The Big Ten hasn't won a championship. It's about damn time some of these coaches go, you know what? That ain't going to win in March. right? What is going to win in March? Playing 5 out, running the fast break, getting out in transition. That will translate to the tournament. And so I like the style of basketball Michigan plays. Will they make the tournament? Will they be a top 5 team in the conference? I don't know. There's a lot of questions that got to be answered. They have some of the better.
I think they'll make the tournament. I think they'll make the.
I agree.
I think that they'll be able. They're going to be able to overwhelm so many teams, man. And I think even if they're not playing well, I just think their size and maturity are just going to overwhelm so many teams, or they're going to win some bad games that they end up playing. Just because they're gonna they're not gonna beat you with making a bunch of shots. They're gonna beat you by locking down. They're gonna beat you by holding you to one shot. Little things like that can get you a real tough win in Madison, get you a tough win against a tough Rutgers team. Those small wins here and there are the difference between a team going 11-9 in conference or 14-6. Right. Those two very different things.
So when I think of a good Michigan team, or a team Michigan team that even makes a tournament, right? They almost always have a pro guy on the roster. So, in your opinion, who's the guy that's going to take that next step after this year? Is there anybody?
Yeah, that's the hardest one in my opinion. I've been really vocal about Trey Jackson for months now, and everybody has kind of heard that. I was told I was an idiot. And then I'm getting texts like during the game, like, okay, bro, you were right. Yeah. I'm like, oh really? It's like Duke can play. Duke can play. He does have some things that he'll need to work on, especially when they start playing some really disciplined teams. But in terms of he's athletic. He can shoot the ball. Southpaw, and he's 6'9", 6'10". It looked really silly out there, and it's almost like you kind of want to you really don't want to take too much out of this Northwood game because it was like no disrespect, but like that was playing against like high level chairs.
Oh my god!
Just high level chairs. So like you kind of want to just okay, they did these things, cool. They play these like moving chairs, but they gotta. I'm gonna watch each game to see how they progress, how they get better, how they're able to. If they can keep that same type of mentality, where I don't think there is a team who you want to have, one or two guys averaging like 16 and 18. You know what I mean? I think they're going to be more like, look, I'm not calling them Villanova, okay? I'm not calling them Villanova. Let me just go ahead and get that through your head.
Don't quote him on this.
Yeah, I'm not calling them Villanova, but in 2017-18, that Villanova team, they had like 6 or 7 guys averaging between like 8 and 12 points.
Yeah.
Right? And it's really hard to guard people like that. Because one guy at any point in time can go off for 20, can go off for 15, and it could be a different person each game.
Yep.
And so it's really hard to hard key on someone, and that's how they won the national championship. Villanova was locked down, and then Dante DiVincenzo goes off for 30. Right? It's so hard to lock down all 5-6 guys who can really go off. But I think if they have that approach, where every possession isn't based off of one person, which I thought it was a bit last year prior with like Hunter, right? That's not the focus. Right now, their focus is, hey, can we get the team's best shot, right? And if they can get the team's best shot, then everybody's happy, knowing that every time they come down the court, hey, it could be me, it might not, whatever. It's going to be me eventually because that's just how we flow. You know what I mean? It's not get the ball to Hunter, we'll see if he kicks it out type of deal. You know what I mean? It's really hard to play with rhythm like that.
Yeah. All right, so that's Michigan, Indiana covered. I want to cover a couple more. Yeah, go ahead.
Can we talk Wisconsin?
I was about to say, can we talk Wisconsin? Because I think this is a point that you and I really agree on, and that is, I think the Badgers can win the league.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. They're at what 60 to
15,
1, 15 to 1?
plus 1,500. But
Yeah.
like, if you're someone, I'm not telling you that they're going to win the league, but if you're someone who really likes value bets, at 15 to 1 to win the Big Ten, I would go with Wisconsin. The way that they've returned their starters. They
Mhm.
put Connor Sigin to the bench.
Yeah.
Connor Seaton's on the bench. He's coming off
Mhm.
because AJ Store has been that type of. I got yelled at for using the word contrast because they're like, if you want to be black, he wouldn't use the word contrast. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Whatever you want to use, contrast, compliment, whatever, brother. AJ Store on that roster. As soon as they got him, I was like, how? How did they get this dude to come to Madison? Because he's the perfect fit,
Mhm.
absolute perfect fit.
Mhm.
Now you have an athlete, someone who can go get theirs, along with the Sigin, along with Tyler Wall. Chucky Hepburn can now be fourth option and just
He's got to run
set
the
the
show.
table,
He's got to run the
just
show.
run the show. You don't even have to do anything extra. Just run the show. They got this dude Winters, basically sixth, seventh man coming in as a big. I like that. I like that team, man. I like them so much, and they're getting slept on because of last year. And I've said it once, and I'll say it again. They were top 15 till Tyler Wall went out.
Mhm.
Literally, like they had Kansas by the nutsack. Remember
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah.
in the little
And
festival joint? I think it was Atlantis
Bahamas. Yeah, Atlantis. Yeah.
or Bahamas, one of those fancy places. But they had they
Atlantis is the
had
best.
Kansas by the nuts, right?
Mhm.
Kansas by like one or two. Then they had another game that was it Wake? It was like by like two or three. They were playing really good basketball.
Mhm.
Really good basketball. And then like he goes down for 3 games. They never get that back. They only win 6 more games until they get to the NIT.
Yeah.
And then they kind of get their mojo back. But I mean, overall, bro, man, that's going to be a good team. And people are sleeping.
Yeah, sleeping on Tyler Wall too. Tyler Wall is a really, really good player, and now he's got Store next to him to kind of help take a little bit of that pressure off. Right? They can't double him now. You can't double Wall because all of a sudden you're leaving a bunch of guys open on the perimeter for Wisconsin. So
AJ
I
Store could shoot it too, man. He
yeah,
could shoot it. He's athletic.
he's so good.
Just-
It was the perfect fit. So yeah, and then I really like Asigian coming off the bench. I think that's great. Like he's gonna be in their like fit game finishing lineup. He'll be in that final five that's out there. But he just gets to come in with the backups, fresh legs after like 4 or 5 minutes of playing or whatever, and come in and then do his thing. That's gonna be so good for Wisconsin.
I I just hope he doesn't lose his fire, though. You know what I mean? Have
Mm-hmm.
that same confidence. Come in like, come in like J.R. Smith. Come in like Russ Smith. Come in the game and just be that spark. You know what I mean? Be that spark.
But yeah, again, you and I both agree with this. Hey, Wisconsin very well could win the league, especially like both of us talked about Purdue a couple times over the offseason, but it just feels like they're due for a weird season. Like they could just have a weird season, and if they do, Wisconsin is a team that could jump at that opportunity. Michigan State has some questions in their front court and at the four, and how they're going to mix all the guys that are returning. Wisconsin very well, and they have things figured out from day one. So they from the jump could kind of take this and then kind of lead the charge in the Big Ten. That would not surprise me at all. You want to talk Michigan State real fast?
Yeah, like the only thing with their four is Malik Hall and Cohen Carr. I think maybe one like that's a really stout group. I'm interested to see what Izzo is going to do there, because Cohen Carr, he's going to want to play Cohen Carr a lot of minutes because
He's fun to watch.
it's yes, he's very fun to watch, but like if you just like don't even think about his dunks, like the way that he impacts the game with his energy,
Mm-hmm.
the way he rim protects on the weak side really makes some of these guys like second guess. Watching the Tennessee games, some of these guys were like flinching going into the paint because they know that Cohen Carr is in the game. He could jump from anywhere
Mm-hmm.
and come get this ball. And if he's playing well and Malik Hall's playing well, what are you going to do? You know, like
You need offense or defense?
yeah, like I wouldn't be shocked if they played Cohen Carr at some 5. Honestly, like I would not be shocked. He's about 6'6", 6'7", but
Yeah.
whether he jumps and how athletic he is, I think if he can hold firm defensively and rebound the ball, he could be a matchup nightmare 4 or 5 on the opposite end.
I'm just picturing Zach Edey versus Cohen Carr in the post.
Oh my god. Well, they would probably send a double and make him pass out of it and scramble and all that. But if they miss, State is gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. And the Edey's got to be like, oh shit.
Running back chasing Cohen Carr? Like, yeah, no.
Right, exactly. So like there's always ways to counter it. JB always had the terms like, yeah, you know, it's like, yeah, we may be kind of small guarding, but they got to guard us too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it may be hard to guard, but you have to guard us on the other end, coming off these screens and doing run ats and doing all these things. So yeah, man, like that's gonna be interesting. I like Carson Cooper a lot at the 5. I'm not gonna say I'm like completely over Matty Sissoko, but like Carson Cooper's done such a good job, and he's been so consistent. The guards are going to be good. Like especially against Tennessee, you saw where Izzo kind of let them loose in the second half, and like, that's where you saw it become a game again. So I'm not too worried about that. Their depth has gotten a lot better. I think last year, if they had some depth, they would have been much better than where they were seated. You know, because one or two guys goes down, like they're now playing like walk-ons extended time, and like that's not where you are trying to be when you're trying to compete for a Big Ten title. But their depth is going to help big time. If someone goes down, there's someone right there to like play, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 guys go down, they still got guys there, and that's going to be the big difference between last year and this year.
What are they going to do with Xavier Booker?
Xavier Booker, I mean, we see the flashes. But Izzo wants his bigs to play a certain way. Like they got to be able to rebound. They got to be able to have a high motor, and they got to play defense. Xavier Booker could hit 4 threes in a row. He misses rebound, he's out the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that I think some guys have a longer leash than others. I don't think his leash is very long right now. I think Cohen Carr's leash is pretty long because I think Cohen has earned that leash.
Right.
Same thing with someone like Carson Cooper. I think he's earned a bit of a leash as well too.
Right.
Maddie, I think Maddie's leash is a little bit shortened.
Yep.
A little bit shortened. You know, so but it's they should be solid this year. I still like Purdue. I was watching the Purdue Arkansas game, and you know I'm watching this game, and I'm just like, Purdue's not playing this game to win at all. Like they're playing this game to find out who the hell they have at the 3 and the 4.
Yep.
Period. No, like I don't know what they're gonna do with TKR in first, bro. I don't understand.
Look,
not my job to figure out, but
one of the points we both very stoutly agree on. Things go south for this Purdue team. Like TKR and first are walking into the locker room, looking around like, why the hell aren't we playing?
Like, what are we doing?
Like what are we doing here, bro? Like First is like a former 5-star. TKR was like right there on the edge. Both these guys very well could have gone to south, to Bloomington and been playing. What are you gonna do, right? And then you go look at
not this year because it's pretty crowded down there. But pretty sure Butler could use one of those guys.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. They could
Sure
they could stay within the state.
First on Notre Dame, he's probably all ACC.
Absolutely. So,
but it's not right to talk about kids who should transfer. I get it. Little
I will not taboo. Do that again. I'm sorry, Michigan State staff. I'm sorry.
You.
Yeah, I got you in trouble. I'm sorry.
You got me in trouble. Jesus. Hell yeah, you got me in trouble, dog.
I'm sorry, Jay Nakins.
Dylan Hoover is asking for the ceiling for IU in Big Ten.
Ceiling? I would say...
What's your ceiling? And then I'll give my ceiling.
I would say ceiling is number 3. I don't think they can win the league. I don't think they can compete with the likes of Purdue and Michigan State up there. But I think that they can be the best of the rest.
I'm at 5.
That's 5 is the ceiling? 5?
5, bro.
5.
Sorry. I think it's 5. I think 5 is the ceiling. I don't trust their backcourt. I don't. I like X too. He's from the DMV. He's from the V part of the DMV. So that's like we're basically related. He went to the high school that I went to when I was a freshman. We played under the same high school coach for like 7 months. But I will say X has to get – he's not back to his regular self yet, I don't think. And he is coming back to a team that is very different than last year. Very, very different than last year. The team that he left against Kansas is not the team that he's joined. He's back there with Gabe Cupps and CJ Gunn and Trey Galloway. He's not back there with Jalen Hood-Schifino, right? I don't know who they had 2 legit pros last year. Is Mackenzie Mbako a pro this summer?
I think so.
You think so?
I think
it's
pro.
Is that going to be based on what he does this year or based off of his high school hype?
I think it'll be based on what he does this year. I genuinely believe that, yes.
I hard disagree. I think it's going to be based off of his high school stuff.
I think... Go ahead.
I think he has a decent year. But I don't think it's going to be Jalen Hood-Schifino-esque.
Oh, no.
Where JHS just kind of takes over Big Ten Player of the Year. Not freshman Big Ten Player of the Year. I don't see Mbako in that mode.
That's fair.
I see him as someone who could possibly be on the All Big Ten freshman team. I can see that. But I don't think it's going to be like, oh, he's marching up the draft boards. I think he's going to be solidly in the teens or 20s if he decides to come out. I don't think he's going to make the moves to get into that top 10. I just don't see it. I don't think Woody's going to give him that type of leash on this type of team for him to even have that type of access. Like Hood-Schifino, do you think Hood-Schifino was in that same mold if X is still there?
No.
Right, so maybe Hood-Schifino comes back, or maybe Hood-Schifino goes much later in the first, or maybe even like second round. Right?
Yeah, because Hood-Schifino's not running solo point, which is what got him drafted, right? Because X would be at the point.
Yes, what got him drafted was they basically turned him into like Stauskas. Like, you need to run it.
Yep.
That was 13, 14 Stauskas. Like, hey, look, here's the ball. There's no one else. You do what you got to do to get us wins. Exactly. And they got him to what, a 4 seed? I mean, it was an amazing job. It was an amazing job he did for sure. But yeah, I got 5 as the ceiling.
5. All right. Which honestly, still not bad. I'd take 5, but that's the ceiling. Not a lot of teams hit the ceiling. So, Purdue.
The Kentucky Network. What's the Kentucky Network? What's that? Do you know what that is?
The Kentucky Network. No. I don't really, not gonna lie, I don't pay a lot of attention to Kentucky. But
Why are you a hater, bro?
no, I'm not hating. 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 I swear.
Man, what is this Indiana Kentucky beef? Can you explain it from like an Indiana fan standpoint?
What beef? We have no beef.
What beef?
Okay. The Indiana Kentucky beef is Indiana and Kentucky haven't played a regular season basketball game since the shot. Because Calipari is afraid to come and play in Assembly Hall. That's the beef. Now, Kentucky fans...
Kentucky Network follows me.
Kentucky fans will say that it's just because their players were harassed.
I can't tell you if they are or not.
Because their players were harassed.
I'm not sleeping on Cups whatsoever. He is a high IQ freshman with a high motor, 100%. But I don't know how much this team is going to allow him to kind of do his own thing. He is very Jordy Holes-ish. I know it's like very white guy to white guy, but very, very Jordy Holes-ish. I think he's going to be super dependable down the stretch for sure.
Anyways, basically, Kentucky's dodging Indiana,
and in the round of 32,
and that's the story. But now they're playing again.
I thought about Kentucky. Said Rob Dillingham. Did I say Rob Dillingham won't be good? I don't think I've ever said that.
Did you say that?
All I've said is that he shoots a lot of shots. I said one, he shoots a lot of shots, and two, he's a lot of fun. But I don't know how he impacts winning. Talked to one of my boys. He said that he made off-court changes in his life that have really benefited him. And if he did that, that may have changed his life forever. If he did that. But I should watch the Kentucky State game tomorrow morning. That'll be a lot of fun.
Hey, Kentucky gives you good Twitter impressions. Trust me.
Oh, man.
Shout out Kentucky fans.
On Matt Sack Space. Oh, man. I'm going to have to go back to it. I know that I make fun of how like he shoots the ball all the time. I know for a fact I've done that. And I know for a fact that I've said that I've talked about this recruiting class. I've said that it was way too big. And it's an overall pretty mid class. Because it's not going to really impact much. Because that's not college basketball anymore. Like, if you want one and done, you have to get, like, generationals.
Yeah.
Paolo, Zion.
Dalton Connects are where it's at.
One and dones that take a lot of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to go get a Dalton Connect. I'm still mad about that.
I said, who could be one of the worst teammates? Are these people is this something that you did, Matt?
Don't blame me for everything. I have done nothing.
Are you muted?
I'm not muted. Are you muted?
I can't hear you right now.
I'm not muted. Did you mute your Discord?
I cannot hear Matt.
I'm talking.
Can y'all hear Matt right now?
Oh.
Or am I going absolutely insane?
They can hear me.
I can't hear this guy.
He can hear me. Can y'all hear me?
Can y'all hear him? Because I cannot hear him.
I know I'm talking. I can see my Discord light lighting up. Hold up, pulling out the phone.
You can hear Matt?
Mm-hmm.
What? Matt, what'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Why can't I hear you?
Hold up. I think Ant changes audio input. I can hear Kentucky Network is a good follow on Twitter. If you follow me back on Twitter.
I can hear nothing you're saying, bro. Should I leave and then come back?
Yes. Wow, I'm over here now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was so strange.
Yeah, I was wondering why you were just... I was explaining the whole Kentucky situation, and you were just talking.
you cut off like immediately. Like, what is going on?
Did you plug something into your computer while I was doing that?
No, I never plug anything into my computer.
Okay, so sometimes Discord is weird and it changes your audio input. I don't know why it does that. So if it ever does that again, you have to go into settings and audio, and then you can like make sure you just change it back to whatever's the default.
Gotcha. All
right, back. Sorry, guys.
Man.
But yes. I explained the Indiana Kentucky things. Kentucky fans have a little bit of a different opinion on the matter, but basically it doesn't matter anymore because they rescheduled, so it's happening again.
All right, so I also was, I put out a tweet earlier. They were like, "Hey, what is something you stand on?" Patrick Starr one, and I said that the Big Ten, top to bottom, is the best, most consistent, best coach conference in the country, and I really stand on that. Someone asked about the Big 12, and I was like, a coach who did very well at a school like Iowa State. Iowa State came to the Big Ten, and his best year was last year, where he was one game. Listen to this. They were one game under 500. How many conferences are you one game under 500, and you are 12th?
Nowhere else.
And you're 12th in the league, bro.
Nowhere else.
He had his best season. And he was 9-11. And he was 12th in the league. Almost 500, and he was 12th in the league, bro. Like that was his best season. And that's another issue that I kind of segue to when I said the Big Ten has two problems, and we've talked about one in detail. One issue that they have is they're lacking teams with multiple pros on the roster. There's just think about those really good Big Ten teams in like the mid 2010s.
Yeah.
Think about all the pros on Indiana. Think about all the pros on Michigan. Think about all the pros on Michigan State.
Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin. And those are the teams who were able to get get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like a couple things happened, right? Not only did multiple teams have pros, like that 2012, 2013 year, go look back at that year of how good those teams were, right? Not only do you have these teams, right?
Yeah.
But you also had multiple teams that you could beat up on down at the bottom. And when you have that, you get to play bad in games and not suffer the consequence of a loss.
Right.
Right? You don't get a lot of those chances in the Big Ten. You maybe have two or three of those. If you look at last year, bro, the worst team by far was Minnesota. Right? one of the worst teams in the country. Second worst team in the country was Ohio State. They had a pro. They had Bryce Sensabaugh. They had Bruce Thornton. Like they had dudes who have been to an NCAA tournament,
Yeah.
right? And Zed Key and all those guys. So like that team was tough on paper,
Hmm.
right? And then you get into the nitty gritty of like 10 other teams that were within like what 2 games of each other,
Right. Yeah.
2 games of each other. These the top 5 or 6 teams aren't getting the benefit of the doubt, and that's why you end up with what was it, 7 Big Ten teams in the 7, 8, 9, 10 games?
Yep. It was 7.
It was seven.
Yeah.
7 of the 8 were in the 7-10 or the 8-9.
A lot.
And that's because they don't have easy dubs to make their record look a little bit better. Like
Mhm.
if you're 22-10, 21-11, you're gonna be in that 7, 10, 8, 9 stuff.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But if you get 4 or 5 of those wins that are just these are easy, 25-8 is now what?
4 or 5
4 or 5.
seed. Yeah.
Exactly. Now you're playing a 12 first, and then you're playing a 4 or a 6 next, right? You're not playing a 1 or a 2,
Hmm.
you know? And it hurts them. It hurts them because they could win that first game all they want. They got to overcome a lot to win that second game. Michigan State did, and they were way better than Marquette, in my opinion. And it wasn't really close of who the better team was in that game. But then you have a team like Maryland, who was, for some reason, the whole country picked West Virginia to win that game. Made zero sense.
No.
Made no sense at all whatsoever. Maryland beats them. Oh, good job. Now you get to play Brandon Miller in Alabama. Good job. Hey,
Yeah.
Illinois. Hey, Illinois. Look, I know you got a couple guys who can get to the pro level. Okay, cool. No, you don't have a point guard, so you know what? To reward you, you got to go play freaking Anthony Anthony Black and those dudes at Arkansas. And look, if you win that game, you got to play Kansas next. Congratulations. But then you have Penn State, who overwhelms whoever they played.
Mm.
They played, I believe, Texas A&M.
Yep.
The, that Texas A&M team was like 15-3 in the SEC, and they beat them by what, like damn near like 20 something points.
Like it wasn't a game with like 10 minutes left. They were
It
running them
wasn't
off
a
the
game
court.
at all. Ran them off the court. Northwestern beats their team pretty handily. I think they play like Boise State, pretty
Mhm.
much in hand the entire game. And then they have to play UCLA, 2 seed. Penn State's got to play who? Texas. And both those games were right there,
I thought
right
Penn State
there,
was going to pull that out.
right there. And people want to clown. People want to clown the Big Ten and all these things. You know what? It comes down to Purdue.
Yeah. It's Purdue's fault. It's always Purdue's
Purdue was
fault.
it.
It's always been Purdue's fault.
And I can't hear you again.
What?
All right, I'm gonna try to fix this right now. Where you go? I'm gonna go to
Settings audio.
voice and video, output, input.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, yep, I got you.
Yeah, yeah. So when it does that, just do that. I don't
We
know.
will.
Whatever you're doing. Whatever you just changed back from, I think it's audio output.
I didn't change anything. All I did was so select the same thing that I was on.
I know. It's just weird. I don't know why it does that.
So annoying.
Yeah. But,
Dog. You know what? People are after me. I don't know what's going on.
All right, what's going on? What do you mean people are after you? What's going on?
I am in a simulation.
You're in a simulation. Everybody's out to get you.
Simulation. Whenever things start going pretty decent, some comes and just messes it all up.
That's how that works, right? I live by the motto that everything is 50-50. All right, so something good happens, I'm waiting for something bad to happen. But if something bad happens, I'm waiting for something good to change it back up. So you can never get too high, never get too low.
Yeah. I told my wife the other day, man, it was things were going pretty well. And I was like, look, something bad is about to happen.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
Playback happened. Makes no sense.
By the way, yeah. So if you guys don't know and haven't been informed, playback's basically not a thing anymore for college sports. I mean, no, it's not a thing for college sports anymore, but it's not going to be a thing for us. If you want to catch us and watch games with us, you're going to have to join the Discord. So we should tweet out the Discord more, basically. So that way you guys can just join, and then you guys can hop in and watch games with us, because we'll be watching the Michigan games in there. I'll be putting the Indiana games on. Michigan State's on. Now we have freedom to really watch any game. So come in and join and say hi. Anything else left in the Big Ten you want to touch?
I did want to talk about, there was the Ryan asked me about Michigan. I did talk about them earlier, so you're gonna have to rewind. I don't want to repeat too much for the listener. What else is there?
The Queen.
Are you hearing about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
This football drama.
Football drama. You talking about the Michigan football drama? Talking about Connor Stallions? Oh, I know the whole lowdown. It was all you guys talked about on yesterday. That was all you guys talked about was Connor Stallions all day yesterday. That's all I heard.
You know what, bro? I think it's hilarious. I think everything is funny to begin with, especially if there's drama. But there's rumors going around that Michigan's gonna drop some stuff on dirt that other teams are doing or something like that.
I'm all for this.
You know what's funny though? You know what's funny about this whole thing is that you know how there's different mafia families, right?
Yes.
They all know they're doing dirt.
Mm-hmm.
They all know they're doing dirt.
Right.
If a bunch of mafia families gang up on the one that's doing really well, who they call?
The cops.
They call the feds.
Yeah.
Hey, look at these motherfuckers over here. Yeah. They are infiltrating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I thought we had an agreement. We're not gonna. Hey, look. We've got dirt. We know you've got dirt. We just gotta, it's all good. But it feels like Michigan's dirt got a little bit too advantageous.
Mm-hmm.
You say that?
Yeah.
And the other mafia families wanted to put a little kibosh to it. You feel me? A little kibosh.
Kibosh.
So I think it is a situation where that mafia family is feeling a little bit of heat, and they're like, "You want to air our shit up? You want to air our shit out, my brain? We gonna air some shit out, then. You feel me?" So I hope something comes out of it, because that's just gonna be content for days, bro. That's gonna be so funny. And it's gonna be funny if nothing comes out, because people have been talking about this for 2 days. So I'm like, look, y'all don't know anything. Y'all don't know anything, bro. It's y'all either know nothing or something funny is about to happen. Either way, someone's gonna get made fun of.
I'm here for it. I'll tell you this: I love chaos, and from the perspective of the Indiana fan base, we're all watching this. It's like the big sharks, right, in the pool, have forgotten about the minnows swimming around and all have started fighting each other. And I am here for it, because finally it's freedom. They forgot about us. They forgot about us. Let them go beat each other up. We could exist down here for free.
You talking about I don't know about small minnows when Indiana might be bowl eligible in a few weeks. How you feel about that?
Hey, they've had a terrible season, but they've played a lot of really hard games. They have 3 very winnable games against Illinois, Purdue, and Michigan State coming up. If they win all 3, they go bowling. Will they?
Wait. Did you not see Purdue score 13 points against Michigan? You better watch out.
Michigan was playing. Michigan was playing worse than they did against Indiana. They were not playing well.
They have a parade on Tuesday about those 13 points they scored.
Yeah, they're gonna hang a banner. We scored more points than Indiana at Michigan this year. It'll go up with all their other phony banners they have up in Mackey. Sorry. I'm sorry. I love my Purdue fans.
So many games on tomorrow. I'm gonna be busy from 6 to 9:30. Because then I'm gonna have to rewatch some games too.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching college basketball every night now from forever until March. Actually, till the first weekend of April. My life is gone.
Oh man,
The life of being a podcaster is hard, guys. It's really hard.
Who's your dad and what's your DMV contact saying about Queen? You know what's funny? One of my boys' sons plays on Team Thrill with him, and I asked, what do you think about Queen? And he goes, "It's Jokic, man." He calls him Jokic. He calls him Baby Jokic. And I think Jokic comps are now if you're not athletic, can shoot and can pass. You have good footwork. You're just Jokic now. And it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Before it was ugh. But now Jokic is now MVP, winning the league, and winning the finals. Now that's a good trait. Oh, you're slow. Oh shit. It's Jokic right there.
He's slow.
Damn. You see how far he's finishing below the rim? Ooh, that's Jokic right there, bro. Jokic right there, bro. Yo, I try not to pick and prod about recruits and doing all that stuff. I try so hard to stay out of the insider game. I try really hard just to stay out of the insider game because it's stressful, especially if you're wrong.
Yeah.
I could get 5 confirms, and if I say something about it, I get anxiety right away because I'm like, shit, if I'm wrong, people are going to come for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's always ugh. I just hate that feeling knowing that people trust what I say, and that's why I try to stay away from it as much as I can, unless I know something's down.
I've gotten some info on Queen. It's 50-50. I've gotten both predictions, so I don't know. So there you go. I have no idea what to make of that.
Just dude who's looking at, he just cut his list to 3. He really wants to play. He's looking at Georgia and Michigan really last.
Oh yeah, what's his name? Because he wants to play with is it Asa Newell?
Yeah.
Down in Georgia.
But business moves, will be going to Michigan because he's not invited to all the McDonald's stuff, Jordan stuff.
Right.
A commitment to Michigan, politics will help out. Get him on those things, Hoop Summit possibly. You know what I mean? Things like that,
Yeah.
Which is real interesting to think about. It's one school can have benefits for your postseason accolades. Other one has no juice for, right? Michigan looks a lot better on the resume than Georgia basketball. You know what I mean? And everybody knows that.
What, Anthony Edwards couldn't promote the Georgia brand? Tom Crean couldn't rescue Georgia? Hey, Mike White has them playing good, though. They're going to be good soon.
Eventually. eventually.
Soon. I like Ace of Duel, so I think they'll be good soon.
But yo,
That it?
I'm good.
I'm straight. We had everything this episode. We had Purdue slander, Michigan Indiana talk,
Yeah.
audio issues.
Audio issues. Eventually, we'll have like more people and we get to chat a lot more. Just want to make it more of a regular thing for sure. Trying
Yeah.
to not get away from Twitter, but really start having Twitter to be for like content, and then having like Discord or YouTube Live to be more for the back and forth conversation,
Mhm.
engagement, all those things. So, thank you all for hanging out and chilling with your boys.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, guys.